This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're a current subscriber, definitely appreciate you. Come on in, make yourself at home. Just showing you a little what we're having to eat for the week, so what we're consuming, as well as physically, as well as visually. I have my pawn shop pickups of the week, 3D pick, classic pick, and with a deep horror theme for the video here. But before I get into what I picked up at the pawn shop, not only do I collect videos, yes, I actually watch them also. And on a weekly basis, just like to share with you, take a few minutes and what I watch for the week, either by myself with the family, either physical media or streaming. And I'm going to kick it off with a classic action Taiwanese film, The Protector, 2005, starring Tony Jaa, Nathan Jones, Xing Jin. Tony Jaa is this young fighter. In their culture, they have this tradition of protecting elephants. They're a very noble creature. And the story revolves around poachers stealing his personal elephant and Tony Jaa retrieving it, and some of the things he has to go through to retrieve it. Tony Jaa, fantastic martial arts. A little different than what you would see with your Chinese martial arts, with your Jackie Chan and Jet Li. It's more Muay Thai, more knees, elbows, more physical contact though, but fantastic action. If you're not up on Tony Jaa or The Protector or the Ong Bak series, you definitely check it out. Tony Jaa, 2005, The Protector. Next two films, I'm throwing these out together because they're so horribly bad though. These are two 3D picks. Both I think are sci-fi movies. The first one has two titles, Swamp Shark or High Attack. This is a 2011 shark film starring Christy Swanson, Robert Davi, I think you might know him from The Goonies as the singing Italian, and Jason Rogel. It revolves around this basically swamp shark that attacks this local community. Very cheesy. 3D is that very cheap 3D. You can actually see where they just laid like one layer of 3D over the whole movie, so there's no pop outs, but the picture is very nice. I have to say that though. Very cheesy movie though, but it's fun, sharp, sci-fi channel type of theater. The other one was their Horror Storm or the 500 mile per hour storm. Also 3D. 3D in this really sucked though. And it was Casper Van Dien starring, so I knew what to expect. Also Michael Beach and Sarah, I believe it's Living. Basically it's this man-made super tornado. Oddly enough, I watched it right after Hurricane Ian, but very cheesy, fun movie though. 3D kind of sucked though, but it was a fun watch. Horror Storm, 500 mile per hour storm, and Swamp Shark. Next, this one is actually a classic. My son's never seen this though, so he's old enough for his right now. I guess it's appropriate for this time. It's the 1983, directed by Brian De Palma, screenplay by Oliver Stone classic Scarface, starring Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer, Stephen Bauer, Mary Elizabeth Mastriano. What can I say about Scarface? This is a classic film. It's actually a remake, I believe. I'm not positive. Didn't look this up. I think James Cagney might have done the original Scarface. It was in that 40-50 black and white period, though. This takes place in the 80s, where there's a large amount of Cubans from Cuba, from the Castro area, involved in this huge cocaine drug cartel. And Al Pacino, aka Tony Montana, somehow becomes the leader of the cartel, and how he gets there and what happens as a result. If you haven't seen Scarface, it's a prerequisite for gangster movies though. My son loved it, so if you haven't had the opportunity, definitely check out 1983 gangster classic Scarface. Lastly, My wife and I checked this out. Is 2022's Bullet Train, based on the book of the same name by Kutaro Isak, starring Brad Pitt, Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Brian Tyree Henry. You might know him from Atlanta. This takes place on I believe it's a Japanese bullet train with a train full of assassins. And there's a lot more names that are in the movie that we're not going to drop. I don't want to spoil it though. They're making cameo appearances. Very cool movie. Very fast-paced, fun action comedy. And you'll be very surprised at the end of when the main characters, or they're supposed to be in the movie, is, if that makes sense. It'll make sense if you watch the movie though. But very fun watch. Get the opportunity. Bullet Train 2022. Also, as far as what you're watching is series. Family and I just finished the 7th season of Supernatural, and we just started the 8th. So now we're caught up on what we've been watching. You're seeing what we've been eating. Now sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video.
here. Have my eBay, Amazon Halloween October picks. Have my classic Halloween pick for the week, as well as my 3D Halloween pick. So give me a minute and get these scanned in, and I'll get you good people on your way. Hold on. All right, let's jump into what I picked up at the pawn shop first. All busted, all is broke, all is better, all is bright. This is an old Anchor Bay with Paul Giamatti and Paul Rudd. So, never seen it, looks interesting. Don't know why they, there's a label on it. It's a little ratty shape though, but the DVD is in pretty decent shape. You can see the other side. All is bright British dark comedy. I love dark comedies. We have Omarion and Marcus Houston. They used to be immature. That's that little singing group they were in. I was just curious about this. I'm wondering if it's Omarion that'll be singing and dancing from The Killer and stuff like that. Boom, boom, boom. Touched. Don't touch. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. So I'm just curious now. I've never seen these guys in a horror picture. I know I think the only thing I have them in is You Got Served, which I still haven't watched, I don't think. My son should watch that. He'll probably get a kick out of that. Somebody help me. This is BT release. Next, we have a slick, sexy comedy with an edge. I don't know if this is a fine in here, though. Hill Harper. I believe it's the same. I think his hair is much shorter now, but if he was my age, he still looks like he did back then. Love, sex, and eating the bones. What the hell? This is a cannibal picture? Funny, sexy, cool, genuine laughs, hilarious, heartfelt date movie. So, it's like a romantic comedy. And this is a Velocity release. Never heard of that. Must be some independent release. Velocity release. Next, I have, in my opinion, one of the funniest men out there right now, Cat Williams remix, Behind the Pimpin'. This is looks like a by Bendy release. And I think this is some of the outtakes of some of his concerts, I believe. This Behind the Pimp remix featured lost performance footage and behind the scenes footage with Cat interacting with his fans face to face. So that should be interesting. By Bendy release. Cat Williams, Behind the Pimpin'. Next we don't have this, and I'm surprised this, well, I'm not surprised, but it doesn't have a Blu-ray release. This should get a Blu-ray release. You have the beautiful Nia Long, the beautiful Vanessa Williams, and the beautiful Vivica Fox in Soul Food. This is a 20th Century Fox release, which I think is now with Disney. You got Mekhi Phifer in there. Soul Food. And lastly, from the pawn shop, speaking of Cat Williams is in here. Owen Wilson, J.K. Simmons. Don't know if I know that. Terry Bradshaw, the old quarterback from the Pittsburgh Steelers when I used to actually watch football. Ving Rhames and Christopher Walken with Glenn Close. So you got a star-studded cast here. Warner Brothers release. So I might watch this later on with the wife. Father figures. So this is what I picked up at the pawn shop. Let's get to my horror 3D pick for the week. Haunting a Winchester House in 3D uncut. I think I took a glance at the 3D. I think it's decent. Maybe I'll pop this in also. So many movies and not enough time. Haunting a Winchester 3D. I think I have a bootleg of this somewhere. Again, I don't know how these bootleg movies kept popping into my collection. Hint, hint. Who is this released by? I don't know. I'm sure because this 3D is probably some third party. But Haunting of Winchester House Uncut. Next, this says Vampire Killer, but the actual title is The Bleeding. And to be honest, the movie sucks. I watched it. I basically was interested because DMX is in there. I like Vinnie Jones also. Not so much Armand Asante. Yeah, the movie sucked. That's all I can really say. It wasn't that good. So it was like a low budget, low budget movie. I'm sure Vinnie Jones and DMX had to be the most expensive thing in the movie. Their salaries, it had to be. Vampire Killers, aka The Bleeding. So this is my classic pick for the week, my 3D horror pick for the week. Another pick. This is more suspense horror. It's also a classic. Really, this is more of a classic than this, so I'll change it. This is really the classic pick for the week. Morgan Freeman as Alex Cross. Along Came a Spider. Very suspenseful, good horror suspense movie. So this is really the classic one. I'm getting goofed up. This is my classic pick for the week. Morgan Freeman. This is just my horror pick for the week. So 3D pick, classic pick. I got it together. This is a Paramount release. And you have the old blah cover. Along Came the Spider. Next, we have the sequel to an excellent horror picture, Sinister. This was just okay, kind of the typical follow-up to a very good initial movie. So the sequel, not as good, but a decent watch. Sinister 2. This is a Universal release. Yes, Universal release. And lastly, to keep with the October Halloween horror theme, we have Tales from the Dark Side, one of the shows I used to watch younger growing up. This is 4 seasons, and the discs are just kind of blah. I don't know why they do that shit. Why do you write on your disc? That's why I got it so cheap. It was used. Tales from the Dark Side, so it's all 4 seasons. This is a Paramount release. So we have my horror picks, pawn shop picks. So let me separate the plastic from the disc and the artwork and get you good people on your way. Hold on. I have almost everything scanned into my CLZ Movies app. C as in Charlie, L as in Lima, Z as in Zebra. These are the only 2 that did not. I had to put these in manually as The Bleeding, and I had to put this in manually. And let's finish this up. I have everything laid out, ready to be put back in its proper place. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your busy schedule, checking out my video. If you made this far in the video, smash the like, subscribe. Please share this with other movie heads like yourself. Give me the big thumbs up. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone be safe. Deuces.